I've really outdone myself. This video is absolutely leagues above any video I've made so far. And it's for one single reason. We're going to build the most advanced AI appointment setter from the ground up. Now, I've made videos about appointment setters in the past, but those mostly started off with blueprints for you to edit and build on. And that caused a lot of frustration with my viewers because they were building on something that they did not really understand. If you follow along with this video step by step, you will have a flawless AI appointment setter that can pick up calls, add customers to an Airtable base, book appointments through cal.com, update that customer's conversation logs and save meeting IDs, remember past conversations completely when people call back, reschedule meetings using the saved meeting IDs, save advanced calls history in a calls table in Airtable, give you a full custom dashboard in Airtable interfaces that will show you total cost, total number of calls made, reason call ended, and the average cost per call. I have not seen a video as beginner friendly and advanced friendly as this one. My purpose in this video is not to just give you a set of blueprints that you're going to plug and play and sell for thousands of dollars. I also want to teach you how the system actually works and how you can tweak it and make it your own. Because let's be honest, in this automation space, the most important tool in your toolbox is not a fancy blueprint. It's not a copy and pastable Airtable base. It's your knowledge and knowing how to tweak it, how to edit it, and also how to understand it. Having said that, of course, I'm going to give you everything you need to hit the ground running. Completely for free. This video has the best set of blueprints and documentation of any video I've made so far. So if you're watching this on your phone, keep watching because this will give you a great advantage when later you're going to be sitting behind your desk and actually building out this agent. You will know what you're actually going to build, what to tweak, what to look out for. It's going to give you a great advantage for later, but do make sure that you of course subscribe to the channel and save this video so you can actually follow along. Now, if you're already behind your desk and ready to start building, I suggest that you follow along step by step to get the most out of this video. So before we start, you need to visit our member platform at members.vlireo.com and make a free account. We have over 1,100 members on that platform right now, and it will give you all of the tools that you need in this video. So if you go to members.vlireo.com, this is what you're going to see once you've made your account. And then of course, if you get stuck at any point, you can go to this page, book a one-on-one with me, and I will help you go through that. You can check out the partner portal. There's a lot of people coming in every day, people you can reach out to build together, but also you can make your own profile and make it public and people can reach out to you. And of course, join our Discord community. So if you want very specific answers to your questions, there's over 500 people in this community, about 53 are online. You can ask your question and there's a high possibility that someone will answer it very rapidly. Now, if you want to give yourself a big advantage for 2025, check out the 2025 AI Advantage Kit. It's the kit that we're selling with Vlireo. It has everything you need from omnichannel functionality to a complete outbound caller. All of the tools and blueprints are in this Advantage agent. You can check that out. And if you have any questions about it, send me a message and I'll help you make the best decision for your use case. But for now, of course, we're going to go to resources right here. And there's a list of resources for every video that I make. This part of the platform is completely free. You can go through all of these past videos and look at those resources. The one for this specific video is going to be added later. So don't click this one, but click the newest one. You will have everything you need in order to build and follow along with this video. Now, since this one is a little different from my other videos, you do get all of the blueprints that you can instantly plug in there and edit if you're already familiar with it. But you will still have to follow along with the video to actually understand how does this blueprint work, how can I change it, how can I tweak it, how does it work at the make.com level, at the Vapi level, at the Airtable level. So we'll get you familiar with that entire tech stack. So let's get into it. So what we're going to do is call this agent, we're going to call it, and then it's going to book a meeting for us. And then in the history, so in that log conversation, it's going to be able to remember what meeting we booked the second time that we called. And then if we call back, then it's going to be able to book a new meeting for an hour later, for example, and then delete the existing one and then book a new one. So that's what we're going to do right now.
Hello, this is Mike from Mary Dental. How can I assist Mike today?
Hi. Yeah, could you book a meeting?
Of course. Let's get you set up. What's your full name?
My full name is Jasper. Jasper's fine.
Got it, Jasper. What's the purpose of your appointment? Cleaning, filling, or just want to chat with Dr.
Anything's fine, basically. I just want to have a quick chat.
Cool, cool. When do you want to swing by? Got any date and time in mind?
Any date and time is okay, really. How about next week?
Alrighty, let me pencil you in. How does Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m. sound? Got that fresh Monday energy?
Yeah, sounds good.
You're all set. Appointment confirmed for Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m. Anything else you need, Jasper? If not, I can wrap this up.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
Right, perfect. We do really have to change that voice. There's like 3,000 voices that you can choose from. I think this is a terrible voice, but hey, it sounds good enough. So at the end of the call, we get the call summary, so the logs, and as you can see, all of the details that we want are inside of here. So let's call that agent back again and see if we can reschedule that meeting. Now, if you look at the transcript, it should say when it booked the meeting. So February 5th at 10 a.m. Let's call the agent back and see if we can schedule that meeting for an hour later.
Hello, this line is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist like you today?
Could you remind me for which time slot did we book our meeting?
Sure. You're booked for Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m. Ready to kick off the week with some awesome...
Yeah, could you reschedule that to an hour later?
Give me a moment. You're all set, Jesper. Your appointment is now rescheduled like to Monday, February 5th at 11 a.m. Anything else you need? If not, I can wrap this up.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
All right, very quickly before we get started, I wanted to thank you guys for all of the feedback and support and the enthusiasm around the channel and the memory community. I think that's great and it's incredibly motivating. So let me know in the comments what you think of videos like these, the actual over-the-shoulder videos. And if you have any questions, you can find my LinkedIn right here. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Actually, some people have found me on Instagram, so I decided to follow up on people who reach out to me there as well. So yeah. Thank you very much, and let's get started. All right, so let's get started with building. We're going to be building with, of course, Vapi, Make.com, Airtable, and Twilio. And the first thing you're going to need to do is log into Vapi. So you go to dashboard.vapi.ai or vapi.ai. You're going to make a free account. I think you still get around $10 of free credits, which are your calling credits. You can call for $10 for free. But you'll quickly have to check that. In any case, if that's something that they stop doing, you can add your billing details here. So add your payment method by going here, going to billing, add your credit card. There's two things you'll need them for. First of all, for your usage. So if you do get the $10, you can of course use that. If you don't, you're gonna have to top up your balance, and also for buying phone numbers. Now, there's two ways of adding phone numbers. Most of you guys are already familiar with that. You can either buy a phone number right here after adding your credit card details, or you can import a phone number from Twilio, which is something that I'm going to show you in a bit. Now, the first thing we're going to be doing in Vapi is building an agent. Very quickly, there's two types of agents, transient and persistent agents. Persistent agents are the ones inside of Vapi. They will always be the same, and the only way to change them is by going into Vapi, logging in, and changing those details right there. Transient agents are something outside of Vapi that you can edit dynamically. So every call, you can change certain elements of your agent without logging into Vapi. I'll show you what that means in a bit. My last video, I went more in depth on this. How can you strategically leverage the dashboard in Vapi to quickly build your agent, call that API, and then turn that into a transient agent. I'm not going to go very in depth on that in this video, but I am going to show you step by step how to actually do that. So when you've logged into Vapi, just follow along with my steps, and then you will be able to build the same agent. I've set up completely blank accounts. So a new Vapi account, a new Make.com organization, a free account in Airtable, and also a free account in Twilio. And wherever you have to add your credit card details, I will tell you, but all the rest is just the same for you. So if you just follow along, you will get the same results as I do. All right, so when you go into Vapi, you're going to click Platform here. And then you're going to click Create Assistant. And then you can call this anything you want, like and subscribe. I like that one. For this case, we're going to build an appointment setter, create assistant. And then this is the persistent agent that we've built, that we get inside of Vapi. Now I'm quickly going to edit some small things. There's some things that just make your agent sound and feel better. I'm going to change the max tokens into 150. I'm going to change this into GPT-4o. I'm going to go to the transcriber, quickly check the settings there. All right, so I think Nova V2 is the best model here. And with the voices, I'm going to choose 11 Labs. All right. And then choose Sarah as the voice, or Marcus right here. And then, of course, the newest best version is 11 Labs Flash. So make sure that you choose the Flash model. v2.5. It sounds the best. It has the lowest latency. If you check here, the latency is around 725 milliseconds. Cost per minute is around 12 cents. And in some cases, you can actually go below that 12 cents. Do keep in mind, this is only for the web version. You also have Twilio and Phonage, which will increase your latency, but it sounds really, really good. All right, background sound. I always like putting on office sounds. So you have some office sounds in the background, like turning those on. And then punctuation boundaries, which is something that's going to be added to the orchestration model for making it sound better. I always add commas and what is it actually called in English? Point commas, period commas? Not quite sure. Semicolons? I'm Dutch, so these are some of the small things that I run into. Filler injection enabled. This determines whether fillers are injected. Oh, yes, this is something I like to turn on. Back channeling, of course, that sounds better. Make the bot say words like or yeah, or some things that make it sound more natural, not static, like an actual robot. I don't change any of these settings, at least for now. Quickly publish that. Then we go to functions, enable and call function. Of course, you want your agent to be able to end the call. Now, one thing that I've noticed, and that's really important to remember, when you want, this is something that many people are running into with their agents, and that is sometimes when you're calling with your agent and you're saying goodbye, and the agent has said goodbye, the agent still doesn't hang up the phone. It just leaves on the phone and it doesn't hang up. And you can say goodbye or have a good day or speak to you soon like 100 times, but it will still not hang up the phone. And the reason for that is it's supposed to call an actual function in order to end the conversation. So the quickest way you could do that is by literally putting this exact sentence into the prompt, which is end the call when it seems appropriate or the caller has said goodbyes by using the end call function. If you put something like this into the system prompt, it's going to use that function way more reliably, and it will actually be able to hang up the phone instead of having it stay on the phone for another 10 minutes. All right, so that's something that we've now turned on. Dial keypad is something I'm going to make a video on in the future. Audio recording, we're going to turn that on just for reviewing our agent later. Don't change any of these, but I do like to turn on smart endpointing right here. It takes care of most of those settings. And then with client messages, we're going to turn all of these off because client messages are actually only used when you're building your agent inside of a web application. But in this case, of course, we're going to be attaching it to our phone number. So we're not going to need any of these to be sent as messages. So you can turn all of these off. Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't think it even matters if you turn them off. I just quickly have to refresh it, or else we're not going to see the difference. But I'm not sure if it even matters if you turn them off. But since we don't need them, it's going to make it a lot. This is a small problem with Vapi that some of you guys might also be running into. Where you're updating your Vapi, it seems like it's not updating. So Vapi is a developer-first platform, which means that it's not paying that much attention to actually people logging in. They're more concerned with people using the APIs like we're going to do right now. So we can actually do this later. I'll show you how to do that. All right, so we've built our agent, and now, of course, we need to turn that into a transient agent. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to go to API keys, open that in a new tab. And then also click here and then go to API documentation. Now your API key, I've always said, I've said this too many times, is something you don't want to share with anyone, but because it's used to interact with any part of your system. So I'm gonna keep that off camera for now. Well, in this case, it doesn't really matter anyway, because this is a separate environment or organization, of course. So I'll just show you what that looks like, and then I'll delete the API key later. So again, like and subscribe. Allowed origins. Any origin do we need to add an origin? This token will be restricted to only these URLs. Okay, we don't need to add that. And we don't actually need to add an agent as well. Transient assistant, yes. Yes, perfect. Great private token. All right. So I can actually show you guys what those tokens look like. All right, so you could just also use this one. If you go here and just copy ID, this is the one that you're going to need, or you can add a new ID. You don't need the public one, you need the private one. Just click copy ID right here. Go to get assistant. Click play right here. Oh, that's the bearer token. Add your bearer token right here. And then, of course, find your ID. So this is your agent. If you go to platform assistance, assistant ID, copy that ID, go over here and put it in here. Do remove the ID that you see right here. You only need the actual ID, not the ID, like the two letters. You need to remove that. And this is, of course, your bearer token. You're going to click done here. Click send request there. Oh, agent not found. That's strange. Let's see. Assistant ID. Bearer token. Let's see what went wrong here. I might have been in a different organization, or I did not save that bearer token. Well, in that case, you can see that if you just choose this private key, copy that, and then go to assistant and copy your assistant ID. If you put those in, then you get the correct request. All right, so we're gonna have to this is your agent. So this is what transient agent is now the agent is outside of Vapi. Of course, this agent, unless it's on the server, can't do anything, but this is the configuration of your agent. This is how your agent is saved in Vapi, is the configuration. Now, of course, this is not something we can actually work with yet. We have to format it a little bit. So what we do is we do this, and then assistant, and then do this, or actually do this. And then put these in between quotes. All right, so I'll try to see if I can make that a little easier for you guys. Of course, there's going to be blueprints in the member platform. Just to make it easier for you guys, at first you're going to add curly brackets like this. Then you're going to type add quotes like this. Then you're going to type assistant, and then put this right here. And then if you have this exactly, write this like this. Don't worry about the errors yet. So this is JSON editor online.org. There's also something that I add to the blueprints where I edit pretty much anything. It will tell you about, can help you format it. It can tell you that the JSON is misconfigured. But if you type exactly this, so these curly brackets and then between quotes, and then I'm not even sure what that symbol is called. Colons, not sure, but yeah, adding this symbol, then you can go back to this page, click copy to clipboard, go in here, and then add it right there. And then once you've added that, you can click this middle symbol, and it's going to make it look much more pretty, and then the one to the left to make it all to the left. You get this right here. So this is now your agent configuration. This is now a transient agent. Just have to remove some details. So ID and org ID need to be removed. Let's see. The creation dates, help me find it. Okay, so this one has to be removed, is serve URL secrets, plus the comma that you see right here also has to be removed. And then the creation date has to be removed. Let's see where that is. Created ad and updated ads both have to be removed. And now you have a valid assistant that you can actually use with Vapi. Then remove all of the client messages, and then remove the status update and hang. But do keep the function call. All right, perfect. So this is the agent we're going to use. Remove all of the client messages, remove the server messages, and that creates the date and the org ID and the ID and the server secret. All right, so this is what it's supposed to look like. And then of course you can edit the prompt, and you can edit the first message is going to speak, and you can edit this voice ID by either looking it up in the voice library with Vapi, or building this assistant basically. Right, so this is going to be our transient agent that we're going to use to pick up calls and to execute calls. So first of all, we're going to build a server URL. I always like to make one scenario called server URL, and this is going to receive all of the messages from Vapi. So the next part we're going to build is in make.com. So you go to make.com, make a free account. Again, as you can see, I made an organization with a free tier. So that means that you can just use a free account for everything we're building in this video. You can go to scenarios, create a new scenario, click that module here, and then either type in webhook or find webhook there, and then create add custom webhook. And it should seem something like this. You can just call this server URL. It's going to look like this. And then, yeah, this is the place where all of the messages and information from Vapi are going to be sent to. All right, so this is the webhook. Now, let's see, what are we going to build? All right, so first we're going to test if our transient agent actually works. So we're not going to do anything exciting. We're just going to add a sleep module right here to give us some time to observe what is happening. So just type in sleep and then make it 5 seconds. Click webhook response. So type in webhook response. So not custom webhook or anything like that, just a webhook response. And then reply with this. So put the entire thing that we've built right here, put that in the body, and basically don't change anything else. And then click save, and then it's going to look something like this. So basically what is happening is we're going to reply to Vapi. So Vapi is going to send messages to our server, and one of them is going to be an assistant request. We're going to reply to that assistant request with the assistant JSON that we've built right here, our transient assistant, and that's the assistant that's going to pick up the phone. All right, so there's two ways. One thing that we actually have to do is add our phone number, of course. Now, also one thing that you can basically do is, I'm not going to do it right now because perhaps in a future video we're going to use this one. But you can actually remove or delete this entire agent because we're not using that one anymore. We're using the JSON one. So we only use this to build the agent, but after that we can basically just delete it. I just deleted it anyway, and then and it doesn't really matter for the rest of the video. All right, so phone numbers. There's two ways of buying phone numbers, as I've said. You can buy a phone number right here, but I like to buy phone numbers in Twilio. It gives you a lot more room and flexibility on regions of phone numbers. For example, I'm in the Netherlands, so I'm going to buy a Dutch phone number. So what you're going to do is go to console.twilio.com or twilio.com, make an account there. You even get free credits with Twilio, but I'm not quite sure if you can actually buy a phone number with free credits. If you do have to add your credit card details, there's no way around it. You're going to have to add them and then buy a phone number. In this case, I've bought a Dutch phone number, and then you can find it under phone numbers and then active numbers. And you can use this to find it. So for example, phone numbers, buy a phone number. And then if you want to find your phone number that you've just bought, go to phone numbers and then active numbers. And then find the phone number that you've bought. And then this is what it's going to look like. Now, this is the phone number that I actually want to add to Vapi. So I'm going to copy the entire phone number, and it has to be formatted like this. So there's also a different formatting somewhere around here with like in between brackets. That's not the one you're going to need. You're going to want to grab this one, which is E164 formatted. Go in here, go in import, and then add it right there. And then, of course, you need your developer kind of password and username in order to make that connection. Now, of course, this is not your actual username and password. This is something that is generated for you once you build your account, and you can find it at account dashboards or just typing in console.twilio.com and copying your account SID right here, putting that there, and then your authentication token. Now, this is of course something that I have to quickly do off screen because that's a protected token that I can't show you guys. but yeah, that's the one that you're going to add. And then for the label, you can do anything. YouTube video. That's what I'm going to call it. And then you're going to click import from Twilio. And what Vapi actually does is it finds that phone number in Twilio. So if we go back here, or actually go here, it finds the phone number and it changes this incoming webhook URL. So what this means is when someone calls that phone number, Twilio is going to send a message to Vapi. And now we've set up Vapi where Vapi sends a message to our make.com server. Okay, what's the best way to explain this? Twilio gets a call and Twilio asks Vapi, how am I supposed to pick up the phone? And then Vapi has the phone number, but it says, I'm not quite sure. I don't have an agent right here, but I do have a server attached, which is our make.com scenario. I'll ask the server how I'm supposed to pick up the phone. And then the request comes in through here. And then this is what we tell Vapi to pick up the phone with. So that's what we're going to do right now. And there's only one small tweak that we have to add, is if we go here to our make.com workflow, click copy address to clipboard, go back in here, go to settings, and then this is something you have to change into your own webhook. Quickly, I'm gonna have to load this up. All right. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to settings and then scroll down here to server URL and change this server URL into, well, your own server URL. If we refresh the page, it should be the make.com webhook that we have right here. So let's see. Yes, now it's the make.com webhook 1JWSS. Let's see. Yes, 1JWSS. All right, perfect. So that means that if you have not attached an agent to this phone number, so don't attach an agent to the phone number you just bought and imported, this should be empty. Then it's going to say there's no assistant attached. I'll ask the server how to pick up the phone and then reply with this. So basically this means that we should already be able to actually make a call and the Vapi should pick up the phone with our transient agent. So yeah, let's try that out right now. All right, so you guys already know this, but I'm recording all of my videos with my camera or with my phone, and my provider doesn't allow me to make calls to this kind of phone number. So if there's any Dutch people watching, we actually found a solution to calling with these computer-generated computer numbers here in the Netherlands. So if you're interested in that, send me or send a team a message. We can help you out with setting that up. We use platforms like DitLogic, Twilio, and Telnix. Telnix is an amazing platform for connecting to your voice agents through SIP and getting access to around, I think it was 200 different countries of phone numbers. So it's the perfect platform to work with. We have a great solution for that. So if you're curious, send us a message and yeah, we'll hop into a meeting. But for now, I'm going, just for the purpose of this video, US people and Canadian people are not going to have this problem. So don't worry about it if you're in the US and Canada, and many other countries also don't have this problem. But for now, let's actually make that call with my mobile phone. And what should happen is that if we turn this on, a request should be sent to our make.com webhook, and it's going to pick up the call with that agent. So first we're going to have to turn this on, of course. All right. And then we're going to call that number. So I go to keypad and then 1970 102 04 531. Perfect. Hello?
Couldn't get assistant. Either set the assistant ID.
Okay, couldn't get assistant. That's interesting. So that means that something went wrong. Now let's see. We did get an assistant given a correct reply, but something went wrong here. So let's quickly see what happened. So we did reply with an assistant. It gave a 200 status, which means that our JSON was correct. So we don't actually have to worry about our JSON. We just have to worry about what we replied with. But the great thing is, Vapi, after you've sent the first reply, Vapi actually tells you what went wrong. So in this case, assistant request return no assistance. So it runs 2 times, as you just saw. The first one is an assistant request. So the type is assistant request. And we apparently replied with a wrong phone number. And then the second one is going to be the status update. So the status update in this case is the call ended, and it's going to tell us why the call ended. Let's see. Couldn't get assistance. Request did not return one. So it did return assistant, but we're quickly going to have to look at the documentation, I think, in order to see what went wrong. So we're going to go here. This is a great way for you guys to also get familiar with, okay, how does that actually work? Building agents, transient agents, and getting familiar with that API. So let's see if we go in here. API documentation, go to server URL, server events, and then go in here. This is what we have to reply with. So this is a transient agent, and apparently we did something wrong, but the agent's not telling us. So this payload is not correct. So if we go here, assistant, perhaps it's because it's a capital A. All right, so the solution can be as simple as that. This A has to be a lowercase a. So this is something I actually should have known, but it's a great case in point. You are going to run into problems when you're building your own systems. Of course, it's a big help watching videos like this, but actually being able to troubleshoot your agents or troubleshoot the things that you're building is going to be the most powerful element. So that's why I keep bits and pieces like these in, so you can actually see, okay, so this is one thing that you might run into, and how do you troubleshoot it? In this case, really quickly, we replied with your system request here, and then we got a reply from Vapi of why did the agent not pick up the phone. In this case, it didn't tell us much. It only said that the server did not reply with an assistant, and that's because we have to reply with a lowercase assistant. Like, it's two completely different things, because that's just how computers work. We have to reply with a lowercase assistant and not a capitalized assistant. All right. So we changed that. We made that quick fix. And so if we were to make another call, the agent should probably pick up the phone. Let's try that out.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Mary. You sound like you know what you're doing. How are you?
Oh, you know, just hanging around in the toothy business. I'm all ears. Well, figuratively speaking, how can I help you today?
Okay, to be very honest, that is not the best voice we could have picked. I just grabbed a quick random voice. There's a lot of voices that actually work well. But yeah, so as you can see, that worked quite well. Our agent picked up the phone. So that's the easiest and quickest way to get a transient agent. It's by building one in Vapi and then editing it in a JSON editor, removing those things. So remove the org ID, the secret URL, removing that comma above that secret URL, as I showed you, the created at dates, and of course, adding a lowercase assistant. So basically what that's going to look like is this. Let's see. Right. All right, so you're gonna have this, build exactly this, and then put the agent that I showed you right here inside of these brackets, and then it should work with the lowercase a. All right, so we built our transient agent. Now, one thing we're going to have to do is make sure that it only gets assistant requests for now. That's the only parts we're going to work with. So we're going to make another quick call and get that data. So we're going to run this module, make another quick call. We're not even going to wait for it to reply. So we're just going to do this right here. And then we're going to go here, and then type is going to be equal to assistant request. All right, perfect. So this is going to be the type, and it's going to be assistant request, which means that only assistant requests are going to be able to go through this link. Now remove the sleep module because we don't need that right now. And yeah, so this is the place where we're going to build all of the other functions. I'm going to go switch back to my phone and see you guys in a bit. All right, so the next part we're going to build, of course, is the end of call report. We're going to want to know after a call has ended, what happened during that call. We want to track all of those calls. what was the reason the call ended, for example, keeping track of all of those things. And we're going to build that in Airtable, of course, but first we're going to update our make.com web scenario. So the first branch is going to be assistant request, but another thing we're going to need is the router. Now, don't worry about this. You might have already seen it in the introduction or on the member platform. I'm going to add and share a blueprint with you guys that you guys can update and make entirely into your own. All right, so what we're going to do is copy this right here and remove that. So this is how I built that. If you want to keep the filter, but put something in between, add a module behind it, and then clone it, and then put it behind that, and then we'll keep that filter. All right. Oh, but this is actually not something we want to do, because we want to filter that branch right here. So ignore what I just said. It's true what I just said, but not exactly what we're looking for right now. All right. Message type equal to assistant request. There we go. This is the filter we're going to build. Assistant request. All right. And then remove it right here. So I can remove all of this. So this is going to be an assistant request. This is the assistant that we're going to reply with. And then this is the branch for the end of call reports. So we're actually going to go here and then type end of call report, because that's what it's going to look like. End of call report. So what Vapi does is at the end of every call, it's going to give a summary of that call and what did it cost and how long did it take and who called and all of these things. What is the recording URL? All of those things will be given by Vapi at the end of the call. And the way we're going to use that is we're going to go to Airtable. So again, this is another part of the agent that we're going to build. The tech stack is Vapi, make.com, Twilio, and Airtable. So you're going to go to airtable.com. I've made a free account, which means that also everything I'm going to do in here is something you can do absolutely for free. And of course, if you want to scale to like thousands of calls or hundreds of calls, you might have to invest in some parts of this tech stack, but I think it's the cheapest tech stack on the market right now, especially for beginners who want to make this work and make an agent of their own. So we're going to go in here and then create and then start from scratch, and we're going to build an Airtable base. So actually, can I make this a little easier for you guys? Yeah, so you're in an Airtable, this is your plan, and you click create, and then you have a base like this. And then you can actually remove all of these fields. So that's status one, delete that one, assignee, delete this one, delete this one. We're going to build it completely into our own. And then double click this one and turn this into call ID. So I like to give an ID to every call. It allows me to identify them, to search them, to keep track of them. And it's just basically good policy. So we can actually make this something attached, call ID. I actually like to add this to it as well. Okay, so let's just use lowercase. This is the easiest way to actually, if you make your variables kind of a static format, that's going to help you in development, but it's more high level. You don't have to worry about that right now. Just turn this into call ID, type formula right here. You want to make this into this type of field, and then type record ID. It's already going to show up right here. Do add another bracket, or else it's not going to work. And then you're going to get, supposed to get an example right there. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. Call ID, formula, record ID. And then right here, what do we want to keep track of? Phone number. Type in phone number. So this is the phone number of the person who called, of course. Next one is going to be call summary. And then make this a long text. What else do we need to track? Ended reason. It's a great thing with Vapi. It always tells you what was the reason that the call ended, and we can keep track of that. So let's see. I usually do single select for this. So there's a quick trick that you can use in order to get all of those. It's something I actually got from Tylen Miller, whom I also did a video or an interview with. Is we go to Vapi Docs, Vapi Documentation. I'm gonna go in here. Of course, all of these things are in the blueprints. If we go to API reference, if they're not there, make sure to send me a message through Instagram or through the Discord from the community, and then I'll update it with all of the details. So if we go in here and then go to server messages, there should be a giant list, or just type it in right here, ended, call ended reason. There should somewhere be an entire list of reasons call ended. Okay, let's just put this into ChatGPT and see if ChatGPT can help us make this into one giant list. I like to do that, paste that right here. But all right. Just gonna go in here and ask ChatGPT just a O1 mini model. Put all of these, let's actually just do the GPT-4o model. Put all of these ended call reasons without description below each other in a bullet list. All right, perfect. So these are all the reasons that a call ended. And those are, of course, reasons that we're going to save in our platform. Now, I am curious because it does give us, let's see, call ended reason. It gives us something like this, which I find peculiar. Pipeline error with some asterisk right there. I'm quickly going to check if that's correct. Oh yeah, I guess it is. Various error codes. All right. Just gonna put it in there. I haven't noticed any problems with that yet. So there's a really neat trick that you can use and should probably remember in Airtable. If we go to Airtable, we're still trying to build this one. We're gonna first choose single line text as the type. So this is the where you're going to call this field, and this is what type of field is it. And we're going to choose single line text for now. And then copy all of this. Let's see what it looks like in that HTML viewer first. All right, so this is okay. You can just you can ignore what I just did, and then paste all of them in here. Expand the table. Do make sure that it expands the table, and then we have all of them here. And then we can turn this into single select options. So we type single select. And the great thing here is it's going to add it to the list of options in that single select. So it's just a great way of getting all of those options and limiting those options to specific variables, in this case the ended reason. So everything we're going to collect after every call for now is the call ID, phone number, call summary, and ended reason. There's a bunch of things you can add if you go in here and then see API reference and then get call. Here's an example. Not everything is included, but this is an example of all the things that you're going to get at the end of the call, but we don't need that necessarily. One thing that we might need is, yeah, this is something you're actually going to want to keep track of. So I'll show you guys what this is. This is kind of a thing in the middle, but it's incredibly powerful if you know how to use it, and that's called metadata. So basically what metadata is, it does absolutely nothing, but allows you to add some information to an agent that you can use later on. So if we give this agent the following metadata, metadata, let's see, this should work, metadata, and then assistant ID is going to be, well, in this case, you can just do a random ID. Let's see. Where was it? Oh, there we are. Just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so this will allow us to keep track of this agent. Now, every time I change something to my transient agents, I like to make another call just to check if it still works. So let's run another call just for now and then check if it still works. All right, so grab my phone again and quickly going to call the agent just to see if everything we've changed, is it going to work? All right, so calling the agent now. Hi, Mary. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, like a dentist's drill. How can I help you today?
Like a dentist drill. Okay, that's great to hear. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, so quickly hung up the phone. So the agent still works. That's great to hear. And we should be getting an end of call report in a bit. So this is status update. And then in a bit, we're going to get the end of call report so that we can actually check if that filter is working as well. Let's see if we're getting the end of call, or was this already the end of call reports? Oh, that's already the end of call report. Let's see. I think it did go through the filter, but of course there's nothing there. There's no reason for it to go through that filter. I'm gonna go back in here. All right, so here we are again, back in the workflow. The agent still works, so that's great to hear. And then of course we also get the metadata from the agents. So what we're going to do is go back in here, reason, and then assistant, add a field, and then single line text, and then assistant ID. So these are all of the fields we're going to populate at the end of the call. So what we're going to do is add an Airtable module. Go here, click Airtable, click create a record, and then we have to create a connection. Now the way that you can make connections in Airtable is by connecting it through an authentication token. So in this case, we're going to use an Airtable token or key. Right here, we're going to call this subscribe again. All right, perfect. So here we are. And then of course, we're going to go back to our Airtable. We're going to click here and then click Builder Hub. So you're going to click your account, click Builder Hub. This is going to show all of our accounts, of course, because it just made an organization for this. What you're going to do is on the tab for personal access tokens, you're going to create a new personal access token, create token right here. And the name is going to be Airtable YouTube video about building awesome agents in 2025. Perfect. You can basically name this anything, it doesn't really matter. You can add all of the scopes. So scopes, basically what they are is they limit the ability of your token. So if you're a bigger organization or there's some sensitive content in your bases, or you're working with freelancers or people that shouldn't get access to all of your bases, then, well, this is what you're going to want to do. For now, I'm just going to grab that one specific base that we built, untitled base, create token, and then this is going to be our token. And then we can use that to access that base. So copy that token and then paste it in here, personal access token. And don't worry about this, API keys will be deprecated by the end of January 2024. That's only for people who are still using API keys. They're currently using personal access tokens. You can even forget that I said that. Nothing changes for you if you just follow along step by step. All right, click save, and it's going to make that connection. It's going to allow us to actually connect to our Airtable base. Go in here, click on our base, and then which is the table that we're going to change. Oh, let's actually rename that table just to make it look better. So go to our Airtable base, untitled base, and then call this the calls history or just calls. Perfect. Go back in here, reload those tables. This is actually something you're going to have to do if you're importing the blueprint, is reloading all of these fields and tables, because right now they're misreferencing the ID. All right, so we're going to have to actually get that data as an example. So these are all of the things that we have to populate. But as you can see, we still have information about the assistant request. But there's many things that are going to go through this server URL. and we actually have to get that one very specific end of call report. So all of the things that we want from the call are not in here. So what we're going to do is call the agent one more time and try to see if we can get that end of call report data. All right, so here we are again at the webcam and calling my agent now to see if we can get that end of call report.
Hello, this is Ms. Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
All right, so I can immediately hang up the phone so that we can get that end of call report. And it's going to load up right here. And now we have the end of call report, so we can actually work with that data. So if I click our Airtable module again and see here, you're going to see type end of call report. So that's great. That's exactly what we want to work with. Now I'm going to give you one huge advantage in building agents. This is something you really have to know because it makes building agents 100 times easier. What we're going to do is click that webhook right here, click on this little symbol right there, and then click download output data or bundles. And then what we're going to do is go to, let's see if I can find it here, Postman. I'll add the link in the description or in the blueprints. If you really want to know and I forgot to add it for some reason, you can send me a message again and I'll share this with you. But basically you can go to web.postman.co and then you grab all of this. I'll quickly put it there for now. Or rather you can go in here. So web.postman.co, make a new API request. So actually I'll show you what that looks like if you're here. So web.postman.co is going to look like this. New request, turn this into post. So we're going to make a post API request. All of this you're going to copy. And you're going to put it in the body right here. So you're going to go body, raw, and then put everything in here. And I think you should be able to remove that. No, just keep it exactly as is. Don't edit anything. Then go back to your make.com. Remove this, copy that, this right here, copy the server, the webhook, go back to Postman, put that webhook right here. And then every time you're sending data, so I'll quickly show you what that looks like. The phone number, of course, is something we're going to populate with the phone number that we just got. So we go to the assistant, no, not the assistant, the customer. So the customer's phone number. You also have phone number right here. Don't be tricked by that because that's your own phone number. You're gonna want to get the phone number from your from the person who called the agent. So that's the phone number, of course. Call summary. Let's see, a summary of the call. You can find that here, or rather, one thing that we can do is let's just add the transcript here. So no summary, just a transcript. Messages transcript. It's just right there. Ended reason is going to be this, customer ended call. And then assistant ID is of course going to be in your assistant and metadata. So if you see this right here, go to assistant, go to metadata, and then assistant ID. Perfect. That way you can keep track of your assistants. Save that here. And then I'm going to show you that if we were to run that information again, but now through Postman, so not even making a call, we don't have to call the entire agent. We can just do this. Then we're going to get the exact same information. And as you can see, we can just work with that as if we just made a call. So that's one very important thing to keep in mind. Every time you want to test your agent, this is what you're going to want to do in order to not have to actually make those calls, just to test your workflows. All right, back with you guys in a bit. All right, so here we are again, back at building the agent. So now we have one branch assistant request and one branch of end of call report. We get all of that data, so now we can make and build the agent way more extensive than we currently have. So right now it's going to save all of that data for our agent. And in order to test, of course, we can make all of this empty. And as I just showed you, we don't even have to make the call. All of that data that we got from the server URL, we can just send through Postman right now. So our scenario is turned on and we're going to simulate Vapi sending us that data. So we're going to click send. It's going to run through our automation. It's going to take the end of call report branch. It's going to populate all of those fields in the Airtable records and this is what we get. We get the assistant ID, the call summary, which is the transcript, and then phone number and call ID. There's a whole list of things you can add to that. So for example, if you just were to browse through here, we can see exactly what we want to add. So for example, we go to message, type end of call report. We don't necessarily have to add that. Started at, ended at, that might be interesting to include. So let's do that. If we go here, ended at, single line. For now, I just prefer making this a single line of text. You can always switch back into something else later. And of course, duplicate field. Started at. Perfect. Let's switch these two just to make it look a bit cleaner. And then the only thing you're going to have to do is go back to your Airtable module, click refresh, and then it's going to find those fields that you can add data to, and then you can populate them. So if we go back here, started at, ended at, oh wait, no, ended at, and then we can test it again. If we go in here, remove that, and then send another request, we should be getting another row. So there we go, got all of that data. And you can do this, well, basically indefinitely. All of the variables that you're going to want in your Airtable, you can just look at this output right here and put it in. So duration in milliseconds, for example, we can go in here, duration milliseconds, and then we can actually make that a number. So that's always a number, just looks a bit better. Make that 0 decimals, so decimal place is 0, because of course milliseconds will not have decimals. Create field. And then this is another field that we can populate. Go back in here, click refresh. And then scroll down to the latest field, and then add, let's see, duration in milliseconds right there. Now, of course, what else do we want to add? We want to add the cost, so the total cost. So let's see, I think it's in artifact, messages, well, just type in cost. Let's see, cost. Total cost is about half a cent. So that's not a high cost, but of course the call is very brief. It's just a cost call for testing the agent. So then we're going to go back in here, type cost, or rather total cost, because there's a lot of things you can calculate with cost, of course, but total cost. And then make this into a currency. And then let's see. No, don't do this. For now, we're going to use dollars. 2 decimals, or actually, let's make this many more decimals, like 6 decimals. So you get very accurate costs, because of course, this is all data that we're going to use. And then if we go and remove this one, delete call, send another request, all of that data will be loaded in. Oh, of course, we haven't populated this yet. So if we go back here, refresh, we still have to add the data to the fields. So if we go to total cost here, we did add it here, but we didn't save the scenario yet. So if we click save and then save, then remove this and test it again, send. It should run it again, and all of those fields will be populated exactly like we needed to. Perfect. And then, of course, if many calls were made, then it sends in the same data, and you get all of these calls. So just for now, we can actually make this into something we can work with to make the Airtable bit a bit more extensive. So if we go in here, we're going to change this call type and end of call type this one, and just to give us some more interesting data, and then turn this into like 7, and then this into 5, and this is a complete dollar, and this was like $3 or $5, and this is a very short call, so it's about 1/100th of a cent or something like that. Perfect. And then these durations are like this and this. So just this is just some dummy or template data that we're going to use, because the next thing I'm going to show you is how to build interfaces. So if we click interface right here, start building, build an interface, and then just some data, like right here. Let's see, do you see a graph somewhere? I think this is good enough. Next, let's see, let's find dashboard, click dashboard right here, click next. And then we build it on top of the calls. And then if we go here, so this is the calls or calls data count, number of calls. So an interface is what you build on top of your Airtable in order to build something that it's an easy way to interact with your data and your database. So a dashboard is going to give you all of the graphs and all of the numbers of your data, like number of calls, total cost, all of these things. Something like a form allows you to add data in a way that's more user-friendly. There's 100 things you can add to an interface. Just to make it a little bit easier to understand for the purpose of this video, we're going to just add one single dashboard, a very quick, very easy dashboard. So you already get some pre-configured things added to your agents. So in this case, count and reasons call ended. So customer ended call happened 4 times. Customer busy happened 1 time. Pipeline error. So these are already things you can play around with. For now, let's just add another count just to show you guys what this looks like. And then we're going to call this total cost. So this is the element that you're going to see in the Airtable interface. This is usually what you invite your clients to in order to see their agent, but also if you're building an agent for yourself, this is where you're going to get all of that data and build that dashboard for yourself. So total cost, we're gonna add filter by. Oh, not necessarily filter anything. We don't have to filter anything here. We just have the summary and then total cost. And then summary type is sum. And then what this does is we called it total cost. So that's just a label to see what is this about. Then we chose summary, and then the field is of course total cost. We want to calculate the total cost, and the summary type is sum. So if we were to change this into min, it would be the lowest number, max would be the highest number, and average would be the average total cost, or the average cost. But in this case, we're just going to get total cost of the agent. So this is all of the cost of all of the calls. So total cost, total cost. All of the costs for all of the calls in the database are going to be this exact figure. And then if we go here and turn this into average, for example, we're going to see the average cost per call. So if you were to calculate this and divide it by 8, it's going to give exactly this. If we publish it, publish the interface, this is what you're going to see. And if you click share, and then invite by link or invite guest users or share publicly or invite by email, you can invite your clients into this dashboard and they can see all of the data that you've built into graphs and that they find important in order to build their, to track their agents. All right, so you're gonna go back to editing view data. All right, so quickly to recap, what have we built? We've built a transient agent that can pick up the phone, and we've built an end of call report that populates this Airtable table and then gives a user-friendly interface to your client or to yourself to keep track of all of that data and all of those calls. But of course, what is the purpose of a transient agent is if you're just going to pick up the phone with the exact same agent that just made the call. Or that you just made in Vapi. So what we're going to do is give this agent some memory about the calls that are made. And how we're going to do that? Of course, we're going to have to keep track of our customers. And we're going to do that with the end of call report. So we're going to add another table, and it's going to be called customers. Right, so this is the second table that we're going to make. Just clicking add and then start from scratch, calling a customer. And then again, we have to remove all of these. Well, as I said, not necessarily all of, let's just remove all of these and then we can add our own tables later. What this customer table is for is we're going to keep track of everyone who's called our agent. And of course, we want to be able to identify them by phone number and then give our agent the history of those calls by their end of call reports. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into customer ID. And then again, go to this, choose formula, type in record ID. Don't forget to add this. So if you just type literally this, it's going to show you the ID of every field here. And again, just the same with this one, call ID, customer's ID. So the customer ID, these are all of the fields of the customers. And then of course, this one is going to be phone number. We're going to identify them by phone number right here, and then logs. This is the most easy thing that we're going to build, just phone number and logs. And then we can give our agent some history about these calls. So what we're going to do is go to clone. And then we're going to, wait, not, that's not how we're going to build this. How we're going to build this. So what we're going to do is with every end of call report, we're currently keeping track of every call and putting them into the calls table. But we also want the end of call report to put all data inside of the customers table. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to click add another module. We're going to click search records. But if we're going to do that, we first have to check, does that customer already exist? There's no reason to add another customer if they're already in that database. You might as well just update those logs and add those details instead of having duplicates of many customers with the same phone number. So what we're going to do is add a module and then specifically the search records. So not a create record, but a search records module. Click on it, choose your base again. In this case, it's called entitled base. You don't have to worry about changing it because if you click right here, it doesn't find your base based on title, it finds it based on ID. So if I were to change this into, for example, Vlireo test YT sub, YT sub, for example, just anything I want, then it's not going to affect its connection because it's still connected through the same ID. All right, so Vlireo test sub, we're going to choose the customers table. And then, of course, that's the table that we just made. Source, don't worry about that. View, don't worry about that either. Don't add any of these because if you don't select any of these, you will get all of them, as it says right here. Leave empty, retrieve all fields. Limit should only be 1, and the formula should be exactly this. So, curly brackets, and then go in here, copy this, phone number, literally what this is called. Go in here, equals, in quotes, and then right here between those quotes we're going to get the phone number from the customer from the end of call report. And basically what this does, this formula looks at all of the records that have this specific phone number. Now if I were to type this in right now, plus 31, all right, then it should give us total number of bundles 0. So we can use that as a filter, of course. So that means if we add a router right here, which is this module right here, we can do two things. So no customers found or customer found. Those are the two options that we have. Customer found right here. Perfect. So the first branch is this. So total number of bundles, the top one right here, equal to 0. Because of course, if it didn't find anything, the total number of bundles, total number of records is 0. So no customers found, total number of bundles 0. The bottom one is of course going to be total number of bundles not equal to 0. Because if it's not equal to 0, it must at least be 1, and that means that a record was actually found. So in the first version, no customers found, we're going to create a record. We're going to add that customer to that base. Just like the calls table, we're just going to populate all of those fields. In this case, we're just going to only add the phone number. You can add anything you want, as I just showed you, by just looking at all of these variables and adding a field. But for now, we're just going to add the phone number and logs. All right. And for now, the only log we're going to use is the transcript. Call transcripts. I'll actually just add the transcript right here. Perfect. Oh, and to make it even easier for the agent, we're actually going to do this right here. So transcript for call on, and then format date. Now, and then YYYY, MMDD, HHMM, Z, and then UTC. All right, this looks way more complicated than you guys think is even necessary. But the reason that I do this is with every log, we also want, so every time in the future with the agent that we're going to build, the agent picks up the phone, we're going to add these logs to its prompt. But one thing that's very important to keep in mind is that we do need to tell the agent when was this transcript or when was this call executed. And that's what we're doing right here. So we use the now variable gives the current time, but we want the current time in a certain format. So we want YYY, which is years, months, dates, hour, minutes, and then Z means time zone. So it has all of the information that it needs in order to keep that log. So in the first version, we're creating a new agent, a new customer. So that means there's no logs. We can just do it like this. But with the second version, we're just creating, so Airtable, get a record. We're updating an existing customer. So what we're going to do is video test YouTube sub, click the customers table, and then choose record ID. So the ID that you see right here, just ID. Save. All right. Oh, no, not get a record. Sorry. Let's redo that. That's not right. We have to update a record. That's right. Update the record. Base, video test sub, table customers, and then record ID is still going to be this ID right here. So not this one. Do make sure it's not this one. It's supposed to be this one because this is the customers and this is the calls. This one, of course, is going to be this one. You don't even have to populate this because in that case it will be the same, but it's just for your personal reference. And then this one is going to be a little bit different. So we do add the exact same thing as the other one. So transcript call on. So you can just go to this one, click, do Control A, select all of them, copy them, and put them in here. But if we do this, then we remove all of the existing transcripts. So what we're going to do to fix this is add this right here. And then add the bundles that we got here, so the logs that we got here, below it. So that means that with every new call, the existing logs that we found in this module are going to be added to the bottom of this one. So it keeps track of all of those calls. And one more thing that we have to do, of course, is the assistant request. We have to add that information into the assistant request. So what we're going to do is, let's see what's the smartest way to do this. We're going to add a router. And we're going to put this here. And then this request, we're going to add an Airtable module right there. Search records. So this is the end of call report branch, and this is the assistant request branch. If we go to the Airtable right here, video test sub, we're going to check with every assistant request if that customer is already in our database. And if it is, of course, that means that we're going to give our agent some information about them. So I'm going to go back here, phone, number, doing this exact same thing. But then, of course, with customers, now we have to get the assistant request information. So I'm going to do another call. Or actually, I think it might be the exact same as the end of call report one. Let's see. Yeah, I think it should be. So if we turn this, put this in here, I think it should still work. Message, customer, number. I think this is right. We can remove this one. All right, so what happens now is you get the assistant request. We're going to search for customers. And then if that total number of bundles is equal to 0, if we did not find a customer in that base, so no customer found, we don't have to add anything to the prompt because there's nothing to add because we don't have any history about this person. So we can just reply with the same agent. But if we did find a customer, so customer found, then not equal to 0 or equal to 1 is also possible. Save. Then we're going to have to reply with something else. So set variable, or rather, let's use a JSON module for that. JSON, and then transform to JSON. Let's remove this one. So that's the module that you're going to want. You're going to type transform to JSON. So JSON and then transform to JSON. And then we're going to go in here, copy this entire thing. Put it in there. And then also, make.com is kind of acting up again, it seems. All right, so this is the prompt that we give to the agent, and we're going to add something to the prompt, and that's the logs. The person, we have a history with the person who is calling you. Here are the logs. There we go. Here is their phone number. And then we also add their phone number, of course. So phone number, because then the agent will know the phone number. And then we can also add it here. This is the phone number of the caller. Because of course, the phone number is not something you have to keep track of. The phone number is something we always have. Because how is our agent going to talk to someone if we don't know their phone number? And then we can go here, clone that one, and then remove this entire thing. So with this one, we don't actually need it because it's already in that prompt that we just made. And since it's a JSON, transform to JSON module, we can actually remove the quotes that you see right here, which seems like it would be wrong, but since this module already creates quotes around our prompt, we can just do it like this. So now we've built an agent that can keep track of all of the calls, can show the calls data into a nice and neat interface, but also give the agent some history about the caller every time it picks up the phone. So let's make another call or 2 or 3 to this agent and see how it works. All right, so here we are again. I'm going to make a few calls. The first one is going to go through this branch, of course, and make a new call. Then here is going to decide that that customer is not found yet. So we're not in the customer's table yet, so it's going to create a new record. After that, I'm going to make another call, and it's going to find that customer and pick up with the ability to actually know what we talked about in the last call. And then after that call, it's of course going to update those records and add to the logs, so it has a more extensive logs and more extensive history the next time we call. So I think this should work perfectly fine. Let's try it out.
Hello, this is Ms. Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I was wondering, what do you guys do?
Hey, we provide a range of dental services to keep your smile sparkling, from cleanings and fillings to more advanced stuff like crowns and root canals. What can we help you with?
Yeah, I don't know quite for sure what you can help me with. I'm very scared of going to the dentist, but is there any way that you guys could go to my home?
Oh, I totally get the jitters. Unfortunately, we don't do house calls. But you know what? Dr. Mary is...
Actually, I have to go. I'll call you guys back later. I'm really in a hurry. I'll call you back later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
So that's great. There's one case in point where if you give it that prompt of end call function, it will be able to predictably end that call. So as you can see, first it went up to this branch and then it saw, okay, a new customer. So it populated the customer field, customer ID, phone number, and logs. And those logs should be added to the next call. So if I make another call, it should remember what we discussed just now.
this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi, do you remember what we talked about?
Oh, hey, yeah, I remember you. We chatted about your, dental jitters and home visits. How can I help you this time? Ready to take the plunge, or should I tell a joke to ease the dental nerves?
Well, actually, that's quite funny that you mentioned that. No, what I wanted to know is who's the attending doctor, and yeah, does he have a good track record?
Ah, you've got me on a subject I love. Dr. Mary Smith. She's the mastermind here at Mary's Dental. She totally aces the gentle and friendly thing. Her patients leave with smiles and, no regrets. Anything else I can do for you? Maybe a little knock-knock joke?
No, not necessary. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
Perfect. So now went to this one, it got the memory, of course, and now it's not going to update the existing, but it's going to, it's not going to create a new one, but it's going to update the existing transcript. So if we do this one, we're going to see it add a line here, and it should have an extensive history of our call. So if I were to call back, our agent should know all of the history of all of our calls. So let's try that out.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi. Yeah, I was wondering, we've had a few calls today, and could you remind me with every call what we talked about in the first and the second call, and at which times we called?
Oh, for sure. We've had a couple of heart-to-heart chats. In the first call, you were curious about our services and asked if we do house visits. Unfortunately, we don't, but I mentioned how gentle Dr. Mary Smith is. She's like a tooth fairy in disguise. That chat was around 2 or 6 a.m. In the second call, you were interested in Dr. Smith's track record, and I sang her praises, of course. That was at 2 or 7 a.m. So what's next? Anything else I can help with, or ready for a tooth adventure?
Tooth adventure. Well, yeah, I think I'm excited about that. I can't book anything right now, but I'll call you back tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
All right, perfect. So that worked quite well. It has extensive memory of all of our calls. One thing to actually keep in mind is eventually this is going to really add up if there's people who call lots of times. So you might want to change this into a summary, might want to add an OpenAI module right here that is actually going to summarize the transcript instead of putting the entire transcript there, or use the analysis report. That is a feature of Vapi. So these are more advanced versions of your build. This is how you can make advanced memory in your agents. Now, one thing I also want to do is add a tool, because of course we want to build an appointment setter that can actually book meetings, and that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to add a branch right here, and of course we're going to have to build a tool and give that to our agent. So let's see what's the easiest way to do that. We're going to go in here, create new tool. So we're going to go back to Vapi. This is just the easiest way to quickly build something and then turn it into something transient. I'm going to click tool, I'm going to click make, just make.com, and then make that the webhook, of course. I'm going to go here. It's going to be the webhook. Yes, and then click save. And then click next. And then property. So now will come all of the data that we're going to send to our server. Now, of course, we're going to be, let's just take the example of booking dental appointments. We're going to have to get some information. So some things that we're going to need are their phone number. So phone number. This is the phone number of the caller in E.164 format. All right. And then what else do we need? We're going to need their name. Name of the... Actually, it's better to call them user, because we're working with the OpenAI model. So we're going to call them of the user. Number of the user, name of the user, name, full name. Let's just make this a full name. Full name. Full name of the user. Save that, and then of course add properties, and then add email of the user. Perfect. Save. So phone number, full name, and email of the user. I think this is all we need. Oh, of course, the date for the meeting or for the appointment. Appointment date. All right. ISO 8601 formatted date. And let's see, how are we going to format that? I'll quickly see what it's going to look like. Y, Z, all right. Formatted date in UTC. Perfect. Well, this is basically enough. If you put it in UTC, then you can always calculate it back or calculate it any way that you like. So phone number, full name, email, and appointment date. For the appointment. Right, perfect. So this is the agent that we're going to use. And what is your tool name? Let's call it book appointment. Use this tool to book appointments for Mary's dental clinic. All right, click next. Let's just forget about these messages. So you can add messages for start, late response, success message, error message. Don't worry about those. I think that the agent is actually pretty good at coming up with their own messages. But if you want more control about what the agent says when it's going to execute a function, you can edit and update those. So yeah, so let's actually turn this into something transient. We're going to go back to Vapi right here. So the Vapi docs, docs.vapi.ai, and we're going to go to create assistant, get assistant, now go to tools, and then get a tool, and then click play right here. Enter the bearer token again, of course. Let's see, do we need to add it here? No, okay, this one's already authenticated, so let's just do this one. Again, just adding your bearer token, and you can make those calls. You should already have that. Or if you forgot how to do that, or if that's removed, you can go back to the beginning of the video. So get tool, and then copy this ID right here of the tool we just made. Remove these two letters, send request. All right, and this is going to be the tool right here. So of course these for sure have to be removed. And then type is make, function is book appointment, async, is there anything else we need to remove here? Org ID can be removed. Server URL is okay. Timeout seconds, 30 seconds, that's okay. Async is false. Yes, so that means that we're going to send a reply. Right, so if you do that, if you remove the things that I just removed, then this is what it's going to look like. And then, of course, we're going to add that to our agents. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go in here and below model. Let's see, where we're supposed to add that. I'll quickly have a look. Create call. Create assistant. Let's look at that example. So if we go here, create assistant, we can give it tools. Tools. All right. And where is that? Knowledge base. Model is exactly below model. And then type transfer. Okay, perfect. All right. So if we go in here, model is GPT-4o, and the tool is going to be this one. So tools, and then this is going to be an array. It's just something you have to know. Is it going to be an array or something different? Now if we go in here, this should work. But of course, this is something that we have to test in order to make sure that it actually does work. Right now it's just guessing work. So yes, tools, array. Yes, I think this should work. So if we go back in here, of course, this is something that's in your blueprint. If it does work, I'll show you guys why it works. in a bit. So yeah, let's make another call. Grabbing my phone.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
All right, perfect. So it picked up the call. So that means that I correctly formatted the JSON. So if we go back in here and then go to the JSON editor, I'll show you guys what I did so you can actually understand how that works. Oh, it seems I might have edited the wrong one, or the upper one. So we're gonna have to redo that for this version. Gonna go here, async false. All right, perfect. Let's go in here. Model. Perfect. Go in here. Let's go again and see if it actually does work. Go back here. And let's make another call.
Couldn't get assistance.
Okay, couldn't get assistance. So that means something went wrong in adding those tools to our agent. So let's see what happened here. Body. Assistant tools. We're going to quickly check if this is even correct JSON. Okay, show me tools. Oh, that's a funny mistake. Okay, so this symbol right here is not supposed to be inside of the brackets, should be outside of it. So if we click this and then this is what it's going to look like. I think that this should already work. So the model is the LLM model that's actually thinking about how am I supposed to respond. So this is how Vapi works, unless you're using something like the real-time API, which is speech-to-speech. It has a TTS model, so a text-to-speech model, which is in this case deepgram, which turns the words that the user or the caller is saying into words. Then you have the LLM, like OpenAI ChatGPT 4.0, which we're using right now, which interprets that text and then formulates a reply. And that reply is then turned into a voice, which we use the 11 Labs API for. Now the model is the LLM. So the model is ChatGPT or GPT-4. And this one handles all of the function. So what we did is, as a part of that model, we added the tool right here. So, and basically what that means is all of these objects, so the email, the full name, the phone number, and appointment date, are going to be added to our, going to be sent to our agent. So if we go in here, and this is just JSON, something you have to get familiar with, but this should work. And then if we go back in here, change this into this. Let's see if it works now.
Couldn't get assistance.
Okay, so this is still not something that Vapi is expecting. So let's actually see what we're currently responding with to see if our JSON is still incorrect, or we're just not doing what Vapi is expecting. So if we go back in here, this is still incorrect. Oh, I didn't update it, of course. So you do have to click save if you're trying to update your agent. Let's see, let's go in here. Then tools, and this one has to be outside of the quotes, of course. Click save, click save. Let's see, is this one still correct? Yes, this one's still correct. All right, let's try that again.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
All right, perfect. So that means that I was actually able to make the call. Now, the next thing we're going to do is actually build that tool. So be back with you guys in a bit. All right, so here we are again. We got that information from Vapi. So the next part or the next thing we're going to do is actually build that tool. So we're going to go here. And this is, of course, another branch in that router. And what we're building, the appointment setter. So what we're going to use for today's video is actually cal.com. This is something many people actually want to get familiar with. So I thought, hey, let's actually use cal.com in this case, because it probably gives you the best appointment setters and most flexible appointment setters that you can use. and sell to agents. So what you're going to do is go to cal.com or app.cal.com. You're going to click new right here. You can make a free account. It's completely free. You can make an event right here that people can book meetings in. So virtual meetings, for example. So quick chat. URL, we're going to call this Mary's Dental. Right here, quick chat. Mary appointment. Well, this of course doesn't make sense. Why would you make a digital meeting appointment for Mary's Dental? It's just an example in this video because we're actually the most interesting use case for people who are actually watching this is booking digital meetings. So that's what we're going to do right now. In this case, the duration is going to be 15 minutes. You can add all sorts of things, of course, descriptions, for example. And then this is what you get. So you've made an account with cal.com. You went to event types, you create a new event, and then this is what it's going to look like. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to change anything in here. I'm going to just book it as is, use it as is. But what we are going to copy is this right here. All right, and we're going to go to the cal.com API reference. We're going to go in here, actually show you how to read this reference in order to actually be able to build and cal.ai. cal.com/AI. Yeah, we're not building with that right now, just cal.com. All right, resources, and then go to API. And then we have the API reference right here. And then we're going to go here. All right, so we're going to build an automation. We're going to automatically allow the agent to set appointments through cal.com, and it's going to send a confirmation email, and it's also going to actually book that meeting and allow us to jump into a video call. So what we're going to do right here is get the cal.com API. So we add an HTTP module. So you click here and then click HTTP. And of all of the modules you can choose, you're going to click make a request. So make a request module. You're going to see this right here. And then the first thing we're going to have to add is a URL, of course. So if we go here, we're going to have to find the right URL in order to make a call. So this is the API reference, cal.com/docs API reference v2 introduction. If we go here, we're going to have to look at book meetings. So create a booking. And then copy this right here. So you have this. Add it right there. So this is going to be the same for everyone, this exact thing. And then we're going to click post. So choose post method. And then the headers are going to be cal API version. So copy this. Add a header. Cal API version. So this is just the version that you're using for the API. Cal.com wants you to know if you're sending a request to book a meeting to their server, which version are you actually using, so that we know what you're talking about in your request, so that they know how to interpret that request. So that's the reason why they're asking for it. And of course, we're going to have to add our authentication. So let's see. Create a booking. Headers must be this, body, event type, ID, start. So this looks like we don't even actually need to add an authentication token, which is strange. Data, start, length, guests, time zone. All right, option 2, option 3. Let's see, let's just copy all of this for now. All of this in here. So in the what's in between the small quotes, copy all of that. And then put it inside of the body right here. So body type is going to be raw. Content type is going to be JSON application. Request content is going to be this right here. Start is, let's see, actually, we're going to have to see what is actually necessary in order to book that meeting. So attendee is required. And name, time zone is also required. The rest is not. So let's remove everything that's not required. Time zone is required. Email, oh wow, is not actually required. We are going to add that. Email and then name. So time zone, email, and name, and then phone number and language are not required. So why even add those? Or let's just remove the language, because of course we do have the phone number, so we can leave that for now. And then guests, optional list of guests attending the event. So apparently that's optional, so that means that we can remove all of this. We don't need to add that. Meeting URL. If no meeting URL is set, then if not provided, then Cal video link will be generated. And that's exactly what we want. We want to use cal.com video links. So we're going to remove this one. Location can also be removed. Let's see. Not sure if this is correct formatting. Body, metadata. I think this is supposed to be in brackets like that. Open, open. Oh, no, never mind. I misread that. Okay, perfect. Start, is that one required? Okay. So it's 601. Metadata, we don't need any metadata for this call, so we can remove that one. Metadata is not required. If I remember correctly, metadata is required, but you don't have to add anything here. So we can just turn it into this right here. Make this empty. Booking, field responses, custom field, custom value. Don't need that as well either. All right, so this should probably work. Let's see, is there anything we haven't added that is necessary? Status required, but that's in the response, right? Yes, that's the response. Meeting URL, guest, event type ID, phone number, language, time zone. All right, perfect. Right, and the length is going to be, let's see, 30 minutes. No, we don't have to specify length because our event type already has a length. Okay, so if we go back to cal.com right here, we're going to go to event types. You can find the event type ID in your URL right here. So this is just these 7 digits that you see right here. And you can already put them here, right there. Click save. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is actually make that call to get that information from our agent so that we can actually book that meeting. So yeah, let's do that right now. Let's make another call, try to see if we can book a meeting, and then have that set up. Back with you guys in a bit. All right, so we're calling our agent one more time, and we're trying to see if we can get that information. Now, just to make it a little bit easier for ourselves, we're already going to give this agent our data. So transcript for call, AI, can assist you. What is it? Okay, user. My email is j.rybergen@vireo.com. My phone number is +31. All right. My name is Jesper Rybergen. My email that you can use for booking appointments. Okay, perfect. This is just to make it a little bit easier and quicker for ourselves. And then we're going to call our agent and see if it books the meeting for us.
Hello, this is Ms. Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi, could you book a meeting or an appointment for me?
Sure thing, Jesper. What's the purpose of your appointment?
I just want to go by you guys and have a talk.
All right. All right. When would you like to schedule this chat? What date and time works best for you?
Anytime is okay, actually.
All right, cool, Jesper. I'll tentatively set it for tomorrow at 10 a.m. That work?
Yes, that will work. Thank you.
This will just take a sec.
All right, perfect. So we got the tool call. So all of the information is here, but of course we haven't set up our automation yet. So what we're going to do is go to this HTTP module that you see right here and add all of those data that we just got from our agent. So we're going to go here. The start is going to, so first we're going to look at these. The type has to be tool calls. And then if we go here and then function, and then arguments. The appointment date, of course, is going to be this. Event type ID, we don't have to edit that. The name is Jasper. The email is j.ryberg, well, all of this. Time zone is going to be, let's see, UTC. Let's see if that works. And then phone number, of course, is going to be +31, etc. And we can make the, and of course we have the filter. Type is tool calls. Only tools. Perfect. Save. Right, here we are. We have three branches, assistant request, end of call report, and only tools. So that's how that works. And then if we go here and copy all of this output again, so output bundles, copy all of this, then we can do the exact same trick and just try and troubleshoot it 100 times without actually having to call that agent. So if we click run once and then send that data, we can check what does it do with our request. So unexpected string in JSON. Okay, so we can see that our JSON was not correct. So if we go here and then open up the JSON editor, it's going to say this is wrong, and it's probably because we missed a comma there. And this one has to have, I think, okay, yeah, there we are. Let's make it pretty, make it look like this, perfect. So I have to remove a comma here. Okay, so if we remove or add a comma here and then remove this one, it should work. And then of course we want to pass the response. So at least the JSON is correct now, but we don't know if we're sending what cal.com is expecting. Let's actually run that again. If we go back here, send that data. Let's see. Cal.com sends us another error. Attempting to book a meeting in the past. All right, so we made one mistake with the agent. We have to give it the current time. So here's their phone number. Here is the current date and time in UTC. So this is something you actually have to give your agent, or else it's not going to know when to book a meeting. It's going to think that it's like 2023 or something, because that's how the GPT-4o model is set. So format date, add the now variable, click save. Let's just copy it from here. So all of this, so this entire format date, we're going to copy that, put it in here, color, and then the current date and time is, and then that's the current date and time, and then copy that. We can add that to the second agent as well, because if it's going to want to book a meeting for tomorrow, it's going to have to know what the day is today, so that I can calculate tomorrow. So that's something we're going to have to fix. So let's actually see if we can find that here and already fix that. All right. So let's see. Dates. Strange, it should be in there. What's it called? Email appointment dates. Strange thing that I can't find it. Let's see, go in here. Appointment date. So let's see what it actually sent us. 2025-01-110Z. Okay, yeah, that's in the past, exactly. Has to know what the current time is. So let's turn this into, let's see, tomorrow at 29. Perfect. And then put that right there. Just some testing data. Save, run once. Let's see what the cal.com platform tells us now. Probably gonna get another error. Oh, no, it actually booked the meeting. Data, success, data, meeting URL. Perfect, so we're actually going to be able to use that. If we go add an Outlook module, for example, create and send a message, create a connection. I'll connect it to our Office 365. Of course, you can also replace this with an Gmail module, Google module, or any other email that you use. we're going to send a confirmation email to our user. Subject, booked the appointment. Body content, hi, we successfully booked your appointment. It is scheduled for, let's see, tool calls, just something very quick just to make sure that it works. Appointment date. Good luck. Oh, and add here is your meeting URL. Just something quick to make sure that it actually sends it. So if we go here to data, meeting URL, save. Oh, of course we have to add recipient where we're going to send the email to. In this case, it's going to be this person and then full name. All right, save. And then, of course, we're going to have to add a webhook response. So the webhook response is used to, the agent is currently calling, sending that data to our server, but it wants to know or get a message that everything went okay. So it wants to get a response from the server. I tried to book a meeting. Did it actually go well? So that's what we're doing right now. So if we go to tool calling right here, if we go down here, click copy, put that in there. Toolcar ID, that's what's in here, toolcar ID. So that's the ID that Vapi server uses to identify which tool is called. So if you have 1 million calls a minute, just to give an exaggerated example, many tool call webhook responses are coming in all of the time. And by ID is going to recognize, okay, which tool call was that and which call was that. All right, so result is going to be successfully booked a meeting. So this is what we're going to tell our agents. Save. Click save. All right, so let's test that again and see if it works. All right, so let's do another entire run of our agent. I'm going to delete all of the history right here. And we're going to test the entire agent as we've built it right now. So we're going to look at the interface. We're going to look at the call history. We're not going to remove that because it's going to make it look a bit more fancy. All right, and we're going to look at all of the results that we get in our make.com in our Airtable. So yeah, what is supposed to happen is we're going to call the agent. It's going to create a new user. I'm going to then call it back. It's going to remember our past conversation. And then I'm going to also book a meeting. Of course, I always have to add those details in here. Let's see. So let's actually add myself right here, +316. I can do that later. Let's see. Here we go. All right, let's try this out. So let's call the agent.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I was wondering, what do you guys do at Mary's Dental?
Oh, close. It's Mary's Dental, not Mary Dental. But hey, we don't mind a little name remix. We're all about keeping those pearly whites shiny here in Anaheim. Dr. Mary Smith handles everything from cleanings, fillings, and crowns to just making your teeth sparkle like they're on a toothpaste commercial. Anything dental, really. What's up? Need an appointment or just curious?
Yeah, let's book an... Okay, so I just hung up while I was still on the phone. Let's see what it does with that. So what it's going to do is going to try to find me, and it can't find me. So it's going to make a new customer. And then if we call it back, it's going to remember what we just talked about.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist you today?
Hi, what did we just discuss?
Oh, hey there. Last time we talked a bit about what we do here at Mary's Dental. We handle cleanings, fillings, crowns...
Okay, well, let's actually book a meeting.
Awesome. Let's get that set up. Can I get your full name first?
My name is Jasper Rietbergen. It's not a very easy name, so you can just call me Jasper. And that's Jasper spelled with an E. So not with an A, but with an E.
Great to meet you Jasper with an E. What's the purpose of your appointment?
Yeah, so I would like to just have a talk with you guys.
Got it, Jasper. A good old chat it is. What's your preferred date and time for this chit-chat?
How about tomorrow? Anytime will do.
All right, Jasper. So, appointment for tomorrow to chat about your teeth. Just to confirm, your phone number is +31637307432, right?
Yes, you also need my email. That's jasperrietbergen@home.nl. I'm going to quickly spell it for you, and I'll see if you can assemble it together and make it into a real email. So it's JESPERIETBERGEN @home.nl.
All right, got that down. Jasper Rietbergen @home.nl. Now, let me confirm. Name, Jasper Rietbergen. Purpose, a chat. Date, tomorrow. Phone number, +31637307432. Email, jasperrietbergen @home.nl. Sound good?
That sounds perfect, yes.
Give me a moment. Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
All right, so something went wrong here. Let's actually dive into it, see what happened. Booking error, bad exception, message user either already has a booking at this time or is not available. Of course, and that's because we've already booked a meeting with this email. So let's actually add that to the history. What we're going to do is make this an even better tool. We're going to add a router right here. All right, copy all of these modules, put them there. Copy these modules. That's strange. Should be able to copy them. Copy modules. Okay, for some reason that's not working. Let's actually see if we can refresh make.com to make that work. So what we're going to do is we're going to save the ID that is generated or made when upon booking. And then we're going to reschedule a booking or delete a booking. So we're going to go in here. Oh, that's really strange. Clone. Let's do it this way then. Go in here, clone, and clone. Perfect. And then we can remove all of these. Go here. And then we're going to add a module, which is going to be an Airtable module. Search records. Remove this link, go in here, only tools. What we're going to do is we're going to build, we're going to track the ID of every call, and then we're going to get that after every call, and then reschedule an existing meeting or delete the existing meeting before we make a new meeting or new booking. So go in here. What we're going to do, we're going to find that customer, of course, by his phone number. Customers, formula. Let's see, phone number equals customer phone number. Right here, limit is going to be 1, of course. And then if we go in here, there's something we're going to have to add, and that is the meeting ID. Perfect. Let's see. Field date, single line of text, create field, meeting ID. Perfect. Is that what we're going to want? And for now, we're going to do this. Just populate with something non-existent, like this. +316373074332. Hit OK. And then it's going to find this. Well, it's not a real meeting ID, of course, but it's something that we can use. All right, so yeah, let's build this out. All right, so we're back in the scenario. And what we're going to do is build out this rescheduling workflow so that I can also identify is there already a meeting and then reschedule it if that's the case. So what we're going to do is go in here and then click meeting ID. And if it equals 0 or empty, it starts a new meeting, so the very first meeting, and then a reschedule meeting. Reschedule meeting, and that's if meeting ID not equal to empty. All right, and what we're going to do is go in here and then delete meeting. So bookings, cancel a booking, go in here, HTTP module, clone this one. We're going to make another API request to cal.com. And what we're going to do is delete that booking. So meeting ID, delete. And we don't need any payload here. We're just gonna, or do we? Booking UID. Okay, this parameter, headers, is going to be this one. This is probably the one that we already have. Yes, all right. And then data has to be empty. So that means we can remove all of this for that one. Perfect. And then method is going to be post. All right. So this is what we're going to do. And then, of course, is there something we need to add? API, data, response, cancel a booking. Right, we don't even need to authenticate ourselves in order to, because this is more on the user side, of course. Only the user will know what their appointment is. And then if we go in here, data, meeting URL, oh, we're going to have to change that into the new variable. So this will all be in your blueprint, of course, 23. Meeting URL, 23. Perfect. And then this is still the same. This is also the same. All right. And then we automatically first delete the existing meeting. And then if we clone this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then add an error handler. So sometimes you're trying to book a meeting that has already passed. In that case, you can just resume it. So you can just resume that. So sometimes you're trying to, so it doesn't identify whether that meeting ID is something in the past. So if it is in the past, of course, you can just reschedule a meeting. It's not in the future. So in that case, in the past, you can just delete that. This is going to give an error, so we're going to make it resume despite that error and still book that meeting because we already know what that error is going to be. And then this one, of course, is going to be the module 27. So if we go here, module 27. Let's see. Add that here. This should be this same exact version, but then for module 27. The webhook ID. And then, of course, there's one thing that we have to add. We have to update the Airtable record. So update a record. Base, video test, IT sub, table, customers, record ID, going to be this one. And the meeting ID, of course, is going to be. Right, so I quickly had to update the time to tomorrow, but if we try to book it right now, here we go in here. It scheduled the meeting, and also we can make it update the meeting ID. So we now have that variable for the meeting ID. If we go in here and check it right here, okay, still has to load up. Make.com can be slow at times. So if we go in here, go in data, and we can find the UID, and that is exactly what we need. And then, of course, with this one, it also has to populate the UID. So let's see, update a record, create a record. So if we go here, the exact same module, clone, and then go in here, record ID. And then this one has to, of course, be 23. Update the meeting ID. Now I'll be able to keep track of whether it has or doesn't have meeting ID. So as you can see, it gives an error because error for not found. If it's not found, it doesn't really matter. That means that the meeting ID in Airtable is outdated and that we can just book the meeting without a rush or a care. So in that case, let's actually try this again and book another meeting. All right, here we are. It's the following day. I had a few meetings and had to sleep, of course. But the next day we're going back into the build and actually testing the entire system, the entire agent. So what we're going to do, I've removed all of the history. So as you can see, no logs, no meeting ID, and we're going to check if the assistant that we've built together works. Now, of course, we haven't added a check availability system yet, so it's just going to guess if there's an availability. Now, in cal.com, I've turned looking for conflicts off, so it will just schedule that meeting even if there are conflicts. What I would advise is adding HTTP module here to update those, to check the availability, so that the agent will know which time slots are or are not available. So what we're going to do is call this agent. We're going to call it, and then it's going to book a meeting for us. And then in the history, so in that logged conversation, it's going to be able to remember what meeting we booked the second time that we called. And then if we call back, then it's going to be able to book a new meeting for an hour later, for example, and then delete the existing one and then book a new one. So that's what we're going to do right now.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist like you today?
Hi. Could you book a meeting?
Of course. Let's get you set up. What's your full name?
My full name is Jasper. Jasper is fine.
Got it, Jesper. What's the purpose of your appointment? Cleaning, filling, or just want to chat with Dr.
Anything
Mary
is
about
fine,
life?
basically. I just want to have a quick chat.
Cool. When do you want to swing by? Got any date and time in mind?
Any date and time is okay, really. How about next week?
Alrighty, let me pencil you in. How does Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m. sound? Got that fresh Monday energy?
Yeah, sounds good.
You're all set. Appointment confirmed for Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m. Anything else you need, Jesper? If not, I can wrap this up.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
All right, perfect. We do really have to change that voice. There's like 3,000 voices that you can choose from. I think this is a terrible voice, but hey, it sounds good enough. So at the end of the call, we get the call summary, so the logs, and as you can see, all of the details that we want are inside of here. So let's call that agent back again and see if it can reschedule that meeting. Now, if we look at the transcript, it should say when it booked the meeting. So February 5th at 10 a.m. Let's call the agent back and see if it can schedule that meeting for an hour later.
Hello, this is Mary from Mary's Dental. How can I assist like you today?
Could you remind me for which time slot did we book our meeting?
Sure. You're booked for Monday, February 5th at 10 a.m. Ready to kick off the week with some awesome...
Yeah, could you reschedule that to an hour later?
Give me a moment. You're all set, Jesper. Your appointment is now rescheduled to Monday, February 5th at 11 a.m. Anything else you need? If not, I can wrap this up.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for contacting Mary's Dental. Have a great day.
All right, so that's great, but the voice is terrible, but it does actually work. So what it's able to do is via the server URL is going to reply to that assistant request and pick up with an agent, and then it can book a meeting, and if there's an existing meeting, delete the existing one and then book a new one. And then at the end of the call, it gives an end of call report. Of course, it's going to update this information with all of the history from that call, and then we get the entire transcript, which is then given to the agent so that in the next call it can remember what it talked about. And if we refresh this, we see all of the data that we want to see. So the total cost of all of the calls is $7.65. Now, of course, that's something that we edited ourselves. And the total cost, total average cost is about 30 cents per call. 25 calls have been made during this testing, and these are the different reasons that the call ended. Assistant ended call, pipeline error, customer busy, customer ended call, silence timed out. So this is how you can make this entire flow work. You can grab your own server here in make.com. You can use Airtable tables as a database, and then you can use the interface function as a visual login page for either you or your client, that they can keep track of their systems and their agents. Now, just to confirm, this is what we got in our email. So these are the confirmations that we got from our agent. Now, of course, this is double because we did some testing, but as you can see, it's first. Let's see, what's the first one? First, book the meeting. So that's the meeting, and then it's let's see, that's the confirmation of the meeting, and then that's a second meeting, so a rebooking of that meeting. And if we go here, of course, in our cal.com, if you visit our cal.com, you will be able to see that that list of booking meetings has been populated and can be added to your calendar. So that's how to build a transient agent with tools and an appointment setter using the tech stack of make.com, Airtable, both the table data and the interface, and also cal.com and Outlook or Office, of course. And of course, you can also replace this with a Gmail module. Right, so thank you for watching this video on how to build your own appointment setter. I hope you've really learned something about how does this tech stack work. And as I've said at the beginning of this video, the purpose of this video is to make you familiar with every part of that tech stack and every element in the thing that you're going to be building, so that you can actually tweak it, edit it, make it into your own, and also replace platforms like cal.com into Calendly, for example, or Google Calendar. If you get familiar with those modules and make.com, you can replace them and really turn it into your own. As I've said at the beginning of the video, if you go to members.vlireo.com, where you also download the resources, be sure to join that community. If you have any questions, reach out to those people in the community and they'll be likely to actually answer those questions for you. Be sure to visit the partner portal, make yourself available, reach out to people on that partner portal to work with. If you have a project and you're going to need any of their assistance, these people will be people that you can reach out to. Now, of course, if you run into any issues during this call, I have my consulting sessions that you can find right here. Book a one-on-one with Jesper. I've got amazing reviews from my consulting sessions. You can also find it at vlireo.com. And I'll help you figure it out and make the most out of your automations. Now, if you want to really upgrade yourself with 2025, we have our 2025 AI Advantage agent. If you look at vlireo.com, you can actually see that this is the exact agent that we're selling to our own clients for around $5,000 per client per project. So how this works is if you go to this page, the AI Advantage agent, you get a quick preview of, once you've built out the agent, what is it able to do. It can reply through text, it can reply through email, it can reply through voice, complete advanced memory across all of those channels. It will be able to book meetings across all channels and reschedule meetings, leave notes, make callbacks. It has a complete cold calling scheduler, which means that if you upload a complete lead list, it will call around 200 leads a day, 5 days a week for 8 hours. And well, there's lots of stuff in this AI Advantage agent that you can look into. Now, there's two ways that you can invest in this. The first one is save yourself countless hours. I'm constantly updating this AI Advantage kit with our newest models, features, tweaks, and improvements. So you will get instant access to the AI Advantage agent if you buy this package right here. Keep in mind, somewhere in the future, we're actually planning to make this into a subscription model instead of a one-time fee. So if you're seeing this way into the future, it might have turned into a subscription model already. But if you're early, of course, this is just a one-time fee and you'll get permanent access to the entire Advantage agent. And the first idea was to just give a bunch of blueprints and a bunch of tools that you can use and figure out for yourself. I've been planning to actually make videos, exclusive videos for this AI Advantage kit environment, where other people, of course, these are not going to be put on YouTube. These are very specific to the blueprints in the AI Advantage kit, so they can actually know how do these work, how can I get started with it. Now, as you see right here, the AI Advantage kit is $450, and then the tech stack is monthly cost. You're going to build this into your own environment, so that's not something you pay us. This is your own cost. But once you've built out the agent, the entire tech stack, so all of the platforms that you'll be using, and the average cost per minute are going to be $35 and 14 cents per minute on average. So that's a great advantage that you have compared to white labeling platforms or kits like this. Now, do keep in mind, you get all of the tools, all of the blueprints, but you will still have to figure it out for yourself. So if you're running into any issues while building out your Advantage agent, or you want to tweak things, make things into your own, have specific use cases, of course, there's going to be content on how to do that. But if you want some support, you can go back to members.flereo.com, book a one-on-one session with me, and I will help you go through that Advantage agent and really make it into your own. In the future, I'm also going to add coaching sessions to this, packages of sessions with me or someone from the Flereo team, in order to figure out how to really use and get everything you want and need out of this agent. So in any case, thank you very much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you in future videos and in the community, of course. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and also leave a comment saying what you thought of this video. Really like the comments that I've been getting on my videos, and yeah, looking forward to the next one. Bye bye.